Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beating the Odds. It is Friday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2023, and we are back with our college basketball best bets of the day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zach, and welcome to Beating the Odds. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, hit the notification bell so you never miss a pick. We post these college basketball videos every single day, along with the NBA and NHL. We're in a big run the NBA too, so definitely check that video out. We're going after our first 3,000 subscribers, so I'm really excited to have you all here. Let's go win together today. Let's go make some serious money. To recap yesterday's results, we made some serious money. We went 5-3 or 6-3, depending on what you did. So we had WVU to start the day. That was an L. That sucked. We had Furman +6. What a finish! Oh my lord, that was incredible. You hit that when that guy hit that three. That's when it was like, it's March. It's time, baby. We had San Diego State -5.5. The best call in the history of basketball with 0.7 seconds left. Thank you for the cover there, refs. I appreciate it. We had Missouri +1.5. Winner. We had Arkansas moneyline. Winner. Oral Roberts. That was a huge loser. I should have seen that one coming. And then we had Auburn with a win, and Texas A&M. I just think they laid an egg. They were looking ahead to Texas. And I said when I was breaking down the game, I thought Penn State could very well win this game. I just like A&M a little bit more. But that was a loss. And then if you did do Louisiana, I did not do it, so I'm not going to count towards my record. But if you did, we went 6-3. If you didn't, we went 5-3. So still a really solid day at 62.5% day. Right now we're 210 and 159 for the season after yesterday. So we're in a really, really good spot. We have a huge bevy of picks today in college basketball. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks today that are already locked in, and we have 4 that I might do later. I'm going big today. I see the board really well today. So I'll start with our best. I'll start with our first bet of the day. Not our best bet, but our first bet of the day, which would be Michigan State money line. When all things are equal, which I think in the roster's case, I think they are when it comes to USC and Michigan State. I go to coaching. I think Izzo's a slightly better coach than Peterson. USC, by the way, is also 7-6 on the road, and Michigan State is 15-3 at home. Now, granted, it's not a true home game for Michigan State. However, their fans are travel well, and it's really close to Michigan State. USC is also going to be traveling time zones. They're going to be playing at 9 a.m. their time. 9 a.m. their time on their body clock, which I think really means something. If you look at West Coast teams that play at like the 1 o'clock hour in the NFL, they usually don't cover spreads. They also usually don't win. And the same thing happens in basketball too when they play early in the day. That doesn't happen too much in the NBA, but if you look at college basketball, if you see a West Coast team go east, they don't really play all that well. So I'm taking Michigan State on the money line here. Kind of a chalky pick, but I like Michigan State here. Next, we have St. Mary's -4 versus VCU. I love St. Mary's here. I'm in Virginia, so we love VCU. However, everyone remembers VCU's run they had years ago, and they've won a couple games since that point. And everyone thinks it's going to happen again. I just think right now that St. Mary's comes out hot and jumps on VCU, especially after getting blown out by Gonzaga and embarrassed last time they were out. A lot of this is going to be recency bias. VCU won their conference tournament very convincingly. St. Mary's got crushed by Gonzaga. That does not mean St. Mary's is a bad team. It means they were a bad matchup for Gonzaga. I like St. Mary's to win here by more than 4, so I'm rolling with St. Mary's here today. Next, which could be honestly our best bet, our third bet of the day here, is TCU -5.5 versus Arizona State. This game is such an interesting bet. It's such an interesting line. TCU should probably be favored, in my opinion, by 8 or 9 points against Arizona State. But the reason that they're not favored by 8 or 9 points is because Arizona State beat an absolutely atrociously awful Nevada team in the first 4. And just because Arizona State beat up on the Little Sisters of the Poor does not mean they're going to be able to keep it close versus TCU. They foul a ton, and they foul a ton. They give the ball away, and TCU creates turnovers, and they get to the rack with ease, especially with Mike Miles. They have a serious team here. With that being said, I think Arizona State can get into some serious foul trouble quickly against TCU. TCU wins this game by double digits. I don't think this game is all that close. So I like TCU here. Plus, Jamie Dixon's a great coach. I'm taking TCU here -5. 5.5. Next, we have Kennesaw State +12.5 versus Xavier. This game is not about Kennesaw State at all. This is about Xavier. I don't know anything about Kennesaw State, but I know about Xavier. And Xavier is vulnerable. Freemantle, one of their better forwards, is out for the season. They've had some bad losses throughout the year, especially recently. They made a nice little run in the Big East tournament, but through it all, I just don't believe in Xavier. I don't believe in this team whatsoever. They'll win this game, but it'll be close. It'll be a single-digit win. Plus, the public is all over a big favorite, which means Vegas is licking its chops here. I'm over Kennesaw State here, +12.5 to cover. Next, we have UC Santa Barbara versus Baylor. I got UC Santa Barbara plus 10.5 versus Baylor. This game is very similar to Xavier and Kennesaw State. I don't really know much about UC Santa Barbara, but I do know about Baylor, and Baylor does not defend. Baylor gives up way too many points. Plus 10.5 is just so many points in the March in this tournament. And if Baylor's jump shot is not there, which in the NCAA tournament, these first rounds, a lot of times these totals go under. I like UC Santa Barbara to keep it close and maybe win. I don't think they will win, but I think this game is a lot closer than people think it will be. I think Baylor just has too much firepower overall to lose, but they don't play defense well enough to blow them out. So I'm taking UC Santa Barbara here plus 10.5 versus Baylor. Next, we have Iowa State minus 4.5 versus Pitt. This is a very similar situation with ASU. It's exactly what's happening with Pitt. It's recency bias. They had a nice win, but Iowa State, since getting rid of Caleb Krill, have played like a lot better, and they'll win this game easily since they're not playing a Big 12 opponent. If Iowa State plays Baylor, they win. But if they play against any other Big 12 opponent, they get smoked. But the thing is, they're playing against a weak ACC opponent. Pitt played a very underachieving Mississippi State team. I like Iowa State here to win by 5 or more. Not really sure what the final score will be. I'm not sure how. I think it might be a sweat, if I'm being honest with you guys. But I like Iowa State here minus 4.5 versus Pitt, especially since the whole world's on Pitt, it feels like. So I'm taking Iowa State here minus 4.5. Next, we have Grand Canyon plus 15.5 versus Gonzaga. There's just way too many points. There's way too many points here for the Zags. Grand Canyon, if you've never seen them play, I've watched them play a couple times. They play a very slow-paced game, and I could expect them to use a ton of shot clock to limit Gonzaga's transition opportunities and keep this game within the number. Do I think Gonzaga wins? 100% I do. It would be dumb to take them on money line though. I think the 15.5 is just way too many points. Grand Canyon's going to take the air out of the ball, which in Gonzaga's case, if you could do that to them, you can cause some serious problems. I like Grand Canyon here to keep the game closer than people think. Gonzaga could pull away at the end. I could see a backdoor covering happening as well, but I like Grand Canyon here to cover the spread, not win, but cover, like Grand Canyon here plus 15.5. Next, we have Miami, money line, minus 130 versus Drake. This game just screams upset in Drake's favor, and I mean screams it. But I really like the University of Miami here. What makes teams go in March and April, as most of y'all know, so if you've been watching me, this is just my opinion, it's pretty well thought out, is guard play and coaching. Guard play and coaching. Jim Larrañaga is an incredible coach. He's from my hometown, George Mason, and I've seen him take bad teams to the Final Four, have bad teams win games in the tournament. He's got a really good team here. And Miami plays 3 guards that are very, very, very good. And I'm taking them just on experience alone. I love Miami here. The world is screaming Drake here. And with that being said, I'm going with Miami. Next are some games I might add later. I'm not 100% gone with these games. However, I'm leaning strongly in 2 of these, and 2 of these I'm still figuring out. You check my Twitter for updates so I can show you guys like what I'm betting. My Twitter's in the description below. So first things first, FAU and Memphis. I'm leaning towards Memphis here, but something is telling me FAU. I'm deciding later, closer to game time. Iona and UConn. I love Iona plus 9.5. I just want to wait a little bit closer to game time. I'm not committing to it yet, but I like Iona here plus the points. NC State and Creighton, I'm still figuring out whether I want to do spread, whether I want to do side, or whether I want to do total. I like the over here, but I hate overs in March Madness, especially the first weekend. Both these teams have a lot of firepower, so I got to figure that one out. And then Kent State and Indiana. I think Kent State's a live dog here, but I still want to wait a little bit closer to game time. I really like, though, Kent State plus the points, but I'm going to decide like a little bit closer. So a quick recap, though, of what we have 100% that's already locked in. We have Michigan State money line. We have St. Mary's minus 4. We have TCU minus 5.5, Kennesaw State plus 12.5, UC Santa Barbara plus 10.5, Iowa State minus 4.5, Grand Canyon plus 15.5, Miami minus 130. And then we'll be adding 3 to 4 of these games that I mentioned earlier a little bit later today. Just check my Twitter for updates. So let's go lock in those picks. Let's go win together today. Let's go make some money. And I will see you all tomorrow. Make sure y'all check out those other videos.